The mountains of the sleeping dragon. Curious creatures hide in these bamboo forests. But it's the giant panda, an international treasure, that we find so irresistible. The panda is a natural celebrity. Meet Xing Xing. He and his mate came here to the National Zoo in Washington, a gift from China. From the moment they arrived, the pandas were the most popular exhibit at the zoo. Now, only Xing Xing survives, the only panda in the United States. As one of the most endearing and most endangered animals in the world, pandas always attract a lot of attention. But few of us know much about how they really live, about wild pandas in the far-off mountains of China. Wildlife treasures are hidden in the bamboo forests of central China, high in the mountains of Sichuan province. Even the cold mountain waters guard the extraordinary. Water dragons lurk in the streams. There are beautiful flowers blooming in the forest. And bizarre beasts prosper on the prolific bamboo. This is the story of the strange and wonderful animals that live in the bamboo forests of Wolong, in the mountains of the sleeping dragon. In Wolong, everyone depends on bamboo. The stalks grow tall like slender trees, but bamboo is actually a type of giant grass. Many different kinds cover the mountainsides. In the village, bamboo has 1,000 uses. Baskets, of course, can be made of bamboo, but so can entire houses. Roofing, fencing, furniture, and other household essentials are crafted with bamboo. The split canes can also be woven to make floor mats, sun hats, and a wide variety of other goods. Bamboo is invaluable to these people, but the mountain slopes above harbor a greater treasure, because Wolong is China's premier panda reserve. Moving through the shadows of the bamboo is the giant panda, a creature as simple and as contradictory as black and white. The panda lives in perfect partnership with bamboo, but exactly why is a biological mystery. It's designed to be a carnivore, with a digestive system more suited to eating meat. Though its carnivore's teeth are modified for crushing and grinding tough food, the panda can only metabolize a small portion of the bamboo's nutrients. It lives on a nutritional knife edge, extracting just enough energy to survive. Giant pandas live in mountain forests of birch, fir, and hemlock. Beneath the canopy, the all-important bamboo grows as a kind of undergrowth, up to 6 feet high. In spring, bamboo shoots are among the first to break ground. Fed by a large underground stem, they push from the earth in a surge of growth. The bamboo's rate of growth is prodigious. From small beginnings, it races toward the light at up to 7 inches per day. New shoots are juicy and high in protein, and far too tasty for a giant panda to ignore. Carefully, they strip away the hairy outer sheaths and consume the nourishing interior. Their appetite is enormous. A panda can sometimes eat 100 pounds of shoots a day, half its body weight. The mountains of the Sleeping Dragon hold another treasure, another panda. The Chinese call this beautiful little creature the fire fox. It's a red panda, and it shares its appetite for bamboo with its much larger cousin. But no two kinds of animals live exactly the same way in the same place. Red pandas are more efficient at digesting bamboo, and they are also better at conserving energy. While resting, red pandas can turn down their body temperature. They need less food than giant pandas, and they choose it more carefully. While its enormous relative favors tough, fibrous stems, the red panda eats only leaves and new shoots. Each leaf is selected individually. It uses its acute sense of smell to sniff out ripe, delicious shoots. This little panda ranges from northern India through Burma and into China. But like its more famous relative, the red panda is a rare animal. There may be only 2,000 of them in the wild. In the branches above, a female parrotbill has reason to be anxious. The vertical stems support her nest, and a foraging panda could accidentally cause its downfall. Pandas' forepaws have 6 digits, one of which acts as a thumb, allowing the animal to hold and manipulate the bamboo with amazing finesse. The parrotbill, still safe in her nest, will also forage on bamboo. It's the only bird that eats bamboo shoots, tearing off the protective sheath with its strong, parrot-like beak. Bamboo sustains all these assaults except one. Strong green shoots suddenly stop growing, turn sickly yellow, and die. The stalk withers, destroyed by this tiny fly. The anthomiid fly lays its eggs inside the growing shoots. and the grubs which hatch out are voracious and deadly to their host. The larvae spend the entire period of their development inside the plant, literally eating it alive. In bad years, they wipe out over a third of all new growth. The bamboo that once covered the lower valleys has long since given way to fields of maize and sorghum. The central plain of Sichuan has been continuously farmed for more than 3,000 years. Because of its rich soil and benign climate, the Chinese call it Tianfu, the heavenly kingdom. Above the rich fields, above the bamboo forests, high in the alpine meadows of the Sleeping Dragon Mountains, women come searching for buried treasure. The women belong to the Zhang people, originally from Tibet. They come to these high meadows every spring and have only 2 or 3 weeks to gather a most peculiar harvest. It's slow, back-breaking work that requires a sharp, experienced eye, for this treasure is not easy to spot. Protruding from the short grass is nothing more than a longer, thicker stem. But for believers in traditional Chinese medicine, this strange little stalk is far more precious than gold. It's one of China's most potent and sought-after remedies, believed to strengthen muscles and enrich the blood. They call it cow chong, or grassworm. But the stalk is neither grass nor worm. It's a strange amalgam of animal and plant, a fungus that preys upon caterpillars. The spores of the fungus germinate within the air tubes of the caterpillar and spread throughout its body, slowly eating the insect alive. It's the fungus that emerges the following spring as a long stalk. Once above ground, the spore capsule at the top of the stalk explodes to release spores into the air. Some will land in the air tubes of other caterpillars and begin the cycle anew. The caterpillar will burrow into the earth to pupate, but will never know life as a moth. Between the lowland farms and the high alpine meadows, the mountain forests still abound with bamboo. Wild creatures are here to harvest it, sometimes from beneath the ground. The invisible harvester is the bamboo rat. The rat rarely ventures above ground. Its disappearing bamboo trick brings its food from the surface with a minimum of risk. Bamboo is tough on teeth, but the rat's huge and continuously growing incisors solve the problem of dental wear and tear. By pruning the bamboo of its stems, this animal stimulates new growth, which in turn helps to generate new shoots for both rats and pandas. This male has something other than food on its mind. It's late April, the giant panda's breeding season, a time when finding a mate takes precedence over munching bamboo. His first step in attracting a mate is to take a bath. A dust bath won't get him very clean, but it will allow him to spread his scent, alerting any female in the area to his presence and interest in mating. Pandas only occasionally dust bathe. Messages are normally left at traditional scent marking places such as rocks or tree trunks. A female has recently left her own message on this spot. Scent conveys a surprising amount of information: the sex, age, and breeding condition of the scent marker, and how long ago she was here at this tree. The chemical signals are produced by glands beneath the tail. The male needs to reply with his own deposit, but he's exhausted from his energetic dust bath. He needs time to rest, a consequence of living on a low-calorie diet of bamboo. When he's ready, he deposits his scent higher up the tree, helping it to disperse. The original scent told him there's a breeding female in the area. He'll search now until he finds her. Unlike its larger cousin, a male red panda knows exactly where to find his females. They scent mark using both scent and perfumed urine, but they do it all year round, on trails bordering their territory. Each male's territory normally overlaps with those of 2 or 3 females. He knows his mating partners and doesn't indulge in a frenzy of advertising at the beginning of the breeding season. So unlike its larger cousin, the male red panda has plenty of time to scent mark and feed. Red pandas breed earlier in the year than giant pandas, and by late April, this male has probably mated with at least 1 female. In the dark underworld beneath the bamboo groves, the bamboo rat has also mated. The sexes occupy different tunnel systems, and it's left to the female to prepare a nest for the young developing within her. Even in spring, it's cold and dank underground, so grooming is essential in maintaining the insulating properties of the rat's thick coat. Without its protection, the bamboo rat could not survive. In the warm spring sunshine above, the sleeping dragon stirs. Suddenly, the canopy comes alive. Golden monkeys sweep through Wolong like a restless wind. With their blue faces and golden pelts, they're among the most beautiful primates in the world. Found only in China, golden monkeys spend their lives in the trees that roof the bamboo forests, eating leaves of birch, wild cherry, and maple. Most of the year, they travel in troops of around 40 individuals. But in summer, when food is plentiful, they coalesce into boisterous super troops. These can number more than 500 monkeys. Other than humans, it's the largest gathering of primates we know of. Their striking fur coats were once prized by Chinese mandarins as symbols of high status. The Chinese government has now given the golden monkey complete protection, ranking it with the panda as a national treasure. Down below, the male red panda is resting with his newest consort. She's the last of his neighboring females to be mated. Soon she will leave for her own patch of bamboo forest to raise her family. The time has come for the giant panda to mate. Our male has followed the scent trail of the female, and he knows that she's approaching her most fertile period. Timing is critical. She's receptive for only 2 days each year. Pandas are normally solitary, and these few days comprise their entire social life. He shadows her continuously, totally ignoring the intrusion of a tufted deer. He tests her by trying to mount. She's not quite ready to mate, so his advances evolve into a bout of play fighting. Pandas are very choosy about their partners, and this rough-and-tumble playing helps to bond the couple before the more intimate contact of mating takes place. The female has finally had enough, and after expending so much energy, she needs to feed. She won't go very far. Her home range is quite small and centered on areas of prime bamboo growth. The male also needs to recoup before continuing his courtship. Spring rains down on the mountains, and rhododendrons bloom in oriental splendor. There's the canopy-wide display of the tree rhododendron. And in the shade, diminutive kinds flourish with orchid-like blooms. The flamboyant beauty of the flowers camouflages a more sinister side to their character. Their fallen foliage secretes a poison which kills off competing plants. Their flowers alone dominate the bamboo forest. In her nest below the clumps of canes, the female bamboo rat has given birth to 3 infants. They're 4 weeks old, and already they've acquired adult skills, like grooming. They've also inherited the bamboo rat's voracious appetite. The female is finding it hard to keep her infants fed. Every scrap of foliage and stem is consumed, and as the supply gets low, it is fiercely contested. The young rat's teeth are not yet strong enough to tackle mature stems, so it strips the hard husk to expose the softer tissue inside. The infant's demands for food put a heavy burden on the mother, so she decides to chance a visit above ground to gather canes from a more distant stand. In the nest chamber, sibling rivalry is becoming intense. With their mother away, it's every rat for itself. The female giant panda has finally mated, and she now devotes all her energies to food. This may give the bamboo rat something to worry about. Pandas are distantly related to raccoons and betray their carnivore ancestry by occasionally taking carrion and live prey. The female is newly pregnant, so fresh meat would be a welcome boost of protein and calories. The feisty threat display deters the panda just long enough, and the bamboo rat makes her escape under the dense vegetation. She's safe underground, but there's still the problem of feeding her young. The female returns to the less dangerous business of harvesting bamboo stems the conventional way. Over the next few weeks, she'll drag bamboo into the nest chamber 24 hours a day to satisfy her ever-hungry brood. It seems that every creature which relies on bamboo must eat both day and night. The giant panda typically eats for 8 hours and then sleeps for 4. It's a schedule dictated by the bamboo itself. The giant grass provides so little nourishment that the panda must feed around the clock to extract sufficient energy to survive. Lying down to feed isn't laziness. It's simple efficiency. Using its keen sense of smell and curved claws, the giant panda can select the most succulent plants. even on the darkest nights. The red panda, too, must eat its way through the night. Like its black and white cousin, the red panda has the anatomy of a meat eater and finds digesting bamboo difficult. This midnight snack of leaves happens every night, all year long. The other essential ingredient to life in the bamboo forests of Wolong is water. The plentiful rains cascade down the mountains to form 1,000 streams. Pandas need plenty of water, and this little female interrupts her foraging to take a drink. In the larger streams lives another of China's extraordinary creatures, the giant salamander. The Chinese call it the water dragon or water monster, and with good reason. This is the largest amphibian in the world. Some reach 6 feet in length and weigh 100 pounds. This is an ancient species dating back 40 million years. It breathes through the lateral folds of its permeable skin. Unlike many other amphibians, it has never truly left the water and heads downstream to pursue its timeless way of life. A Chinese water chat has arrived to take up summer residence along the river. It stakes a claim to a particular stretch, advertising its ownership with constant displays of tail flashing. Fast, clear running water. Solid, stationary rocks. In Chinese philosophy, they symbolize the principles of yin and yang, opposites in balance in the world. Above the rivers in the bamboo forest, a panda wanders on its solitary way, a puzzling set of opposites itself, a carnivore on a constant search for bamboo. Next to bamboo, water is the substance most important to pandas. They will even ignore prime stands of bamboo if there are no pools or streams within half a mile. Walking beyond that distance to drink simply demands too much effort from an animal that hovers perpetually on the brink of starvation. There's another major problem for the creatures that live on a diet of bamboo. Every 60 years or so, certain kinds of bamboo simultaneously flower and set seed. Seed eaters like the spectacular golden pheasant do well on the crop of food. It's a bird of deep cover and can only rarely be glimpsed in the dense bamboo growth. The abundant seed heads might signal a feast for some, but an impending famine for others. The problem for pandas is that after seeding, the bamboo withers and dies, leading to a serious shortage of food. Bamboo dieback is a problem for any giant panda, but especially for a pregnant female. Luckily, other kinds of bamboo lower down the mountain have a different flowering cycle and are still green. But in this place, the female is surrounded by nothing but dead bamboo. The mother-to-be senses that something is wrong with her valuable food supply. The stems and leaves have long since withered. They are of no nutritional value whatever. Indeed, the panda's actually wasting precious energy chewing it. The female bamboo rat also faces disaster. The roots and stems are dead. Her sole food supply has vanished. Above ground, the stark truth of the panda situation has finally hit home. Being a specialized feeder is always risky. Now, both panda and bamboo rat have only one choice: move on to find more bamboo or die. With nothing to eat, the mother rat and her one surviving juvenile embark on a long journey to greener pastures. She's already lost 2 young within the relative safety of her tunnel system, so she waits for the cover of darkness to migrate with her remaining offspring. To reach their new home ground, they cover several miles a night, a journey that drains their precious reserves of body fat. They try to keep under cover to avoid the predators that lurk at night. With such a dearth of bamboo, there's little opportunity to feed. But the rat must find stands of healthy plants within the next few days if it's to survive. The disaster is an old routine for bamboo and for the forest. The bamboo dieback allows light to reach the forest floor. New tree seedlings sprout up and become vigorous saplings. Even bamboo itself needs trees. Bamboo seedlings only develop in the shade of a protective canopy, and the trees that shelter the bamboo provide food for other creatures. The Tibetan macaque eats just about everything in the forest: fruit, seeds, bark, insects, even birds. Like all monkeys, the female becomes absorbed in grooming her infant. But like all youngsters, it soon grows restless. Macaques are intensely social. The group teaches the baby what to eat. The red panda wanders the branches alone. It's not as acrobatic as a macaque, but it's as happy high up in the trees as it is on the ground. It's late summer, and this female is sampling the most luscious stands of bamboo. She's a mother and has another hungry mouth to feed. This 4-month-old youngster is slowly in the process of being weaned. By following its mother's example, it will learn which leaves are ready to eat. A red panda's home range is modest, only about 1.5 square miles. If ranges overlap, squabbles break out with the neighbors. The interloper has escaped to the top of a tree, but not out of the territory. Not satisfied, the female confronts him. This time, he gives way gracefully. No panda would waste energy on a fight. Tree climbing is a useful skill for these little pandas. Occasionally, they might rob a bird's nest, but mostly they find a safe place to rest. On cold days, they often sunbathe in the branches, curling up on a limb like a Cheshire cat. Giant pandas only climb trees to get out of trouble, unless they're a curious 1-year-old looking for a little adventure. At this age, juvenile pandas begin to explore on their own. It's the most perilous time in their life. They're still small enough to fall victim to Asiatic wild dogs or leopards. So they still like to keep within calling distance of their mother. This young panda won't stray very far, and suddenly frightened, it beats a retreat upwards. Unseen dangers in this forest are all too real, despite the fact that Wolong is a nature preserve designed to protect pandas. This youngster has much to fear. All the world loves the panda. All the world wants to help it survive. And yet, the panda is slipping away. There are only 1,000 left in the wild, scattered across 12 isolated reserves. Captive breeding has been a dismal failure, and as each panda becomes more precious, poaching becomes more lucrative. The pressures of human demands on even this remote forest are squeezing the panda out of its mountain retreat. Conservation efforts have brought international attention, but they have failed to secure a future for the panda. We think of pandas as bumbling clowns, as charming, inefficient creatures. But pandas are survivors, living by a simple wisdom many thousands of generations old. Not that a panda isn't allowed to make a mistake. His mother steadfastly ignores his antics. Perhaps she's seen it all before. The youngster is unhurt. His fall has been broken by the same plant that will support him throughout his life, bamboo. Early October. Autumn mists drift in like wisps of smoke across the mountains of the sleeping dragon. A late harvest of berries attracts a red panda away from the bamboo. A cub and its mother are also interested in tasting this different food, but they must wait their turn. There's a definite pecking order on such occasions, and everyone knows his place. It's no wonder they're willing to wait. The sweet berries provide a huge boost of calories and vitamins to help the animals face the rigors of the coming winter. The female and her offspring approach just as the male completes his meal and gives up his place to them at the feeding bush. The cub tries a berry, but it's not what he was expecting. It's back to bamboo for this panda. Late autumn, fog settles silently around the peaks. Assembling in the mountain meadows is one of the oddest of China's exotic wild animals, the takin, a large, long-faced relative of the muskox. Its heavy, well-oiled coat will protect it from the winter snows that are on the way. Takin breed and give birth in the alpine meadows during summer. This young calf is about 4 months old. As winter approaches, they herd together and slowly browse their way down the mountain slopes in search of fresh pastures. As the cold intensifies, they'll take shelter deep in the bamboo forests. Back in the forest, in the hollow of an old tree, a giant panda has become a mother. Her baby was born blind, naked, and scarcely 1,000th of its mother's weight. Born in September, the baby is now 5 weeks old, and it's already doubled in size. Its mother's rich milk will fuel its rapid growth. Feeding the baby is a big drain on her reserves, so the mother frequently leaves the den for a quick meal. The infant objects to being abandoned. Its protests are larger than its size, but it will grow up to ask very little of the world. Like its mother, it will only ask for bamboo and a quiet forest in which to find its self-imposed solitude. But it will need a most difficult thing from us. It will need to be left alone. She returns to the nest as soon as she can to make sure her precious baby is safe. With luck, and if she's a good mother, she will raise this little symbol of hope to take its place where it belongs, in the mountains of the sleeping dragon.
To find out more about nature, visit us on the PBS homepage at the address on your screen.
This is PBS.